Look, before we get into the content, it's really important that you guys hit that subscribe button. We're out here every single day working for y'all, trying to hit y'all with the best content. And what motivates us to keep going is people like you. So hit the subscribe button, join the conversation, join the Deuce Gang.
What he said. Brought it back. I brought back the bib for this one. You know what I mean? I know the ladies like it, so.
Men lie, women lie.
Bibs don't. Oh, man.
Viewing public, do you like the bib? It's
okay. What it is, it's a sweater, and all I'm wearing is the top piece. That's all it is. It's nothing. It's not actually a bib. Let's just get that out of the way first of all.
It's a hoodie. Now, I want to point this out. If you were there on the insurrection on January 6th and you were wearing that, whether or not you were on video, you would have stuck out like a sore thumb. There was like thousands of people there. So many people got away. If you were rocking that, they would have been like, yeah, I know that guy. We all know that guy. He's the guy who wears the dude. Yeah, he's bib dude. You would have stuck out like a sore thumb, you know. And it's interesting about that day because a lot of Republican senators have described that day as just a walk in the park, you know, just a regular tourist day. A Capitol police officer got their eye gouged out. There's actual video of one of these Capitol Police being beaten with an American flag. I don't know why that doesn't get talked about more. They're on government property, right? Not just any government property. Like, they're at the Capitol building. Like, what are we talking about? And a Capitol police officer is being beaten with an American flag. How crazy is that? You know, and the other thing too, with this whole because they're trying to get to the bottom of what really happened, like we don't know. And a lot of the Republicans they're just trying to pass it off like it was no big deal. And of course it was no big deal to them.
I mean, yeah, if you weren't there, then of course it was something that was very important to you. But I mean, if you were the person on the front lines, then obviously this had not just an effect on you that day from the people that were there, but more of a lot. Why are you trying to stop me?
No, because they were there. The Republicans who are trying to pass this off as nothing were actually in the building when it was being attacked.
Right, but they weren't fighting. Well, I mean, I guess they were fighting some of the people that were trying to get into the rooms and stuff like that. But in general, most of those people that were in there weren't the ones trying to stop what was happening from happening, right? So it's a different type of trauma. There's a different type of trauma when you're the victim, when you're the one people are trying to be attacked versus the one who's trying to stop the attack.
Oh, 100%.
Because then you have to deal with both sides of the emotion, right? And a lot of people don't take that into account. And what's crazy is obviously what we're going to be, well, not obviously, but what we're going to be talking about is due to that and the lasting effects of what comes from those type of incidents and stuff like that people don't even think about. And when they talk about it was nothing, they don't account for as well.
Well, the reason why and that's a great point, but the reason why I say that these Republicans, they pass it off as nothing is because the mob wasn't there to mess with them. It's like right. if you have a group of boys or whatever like that, and you know your boys are coming into the spot to tear shit down, you're not worried. They're your people. What are you worried about? In fact, one of the Republican senators said, hey, I wasn't worried at all. But guess what? And I'm paraphrasing here, if it was Black Lives Matter, I would have been scared as shit. And a lot of people took offense to that because a lot of people were looking at it like, oh, if it was black people, it would have been way worse and they would have shot them. No. He was actually one of the only people being honest on the Republican side. He was saying what it was. They weren't here for me. However, if it was Black Lives Matter, yeah, they would have been here for me. I would have been shitting bricks. So I as messed up as your statement was, I applaud your honesty. But, you know,
Okay. I guess you got. I guess that's just something you wanted to get out of your system about the Republicans.
Well, I
You just
mean,
want
well, like,
how you feel.
well, I mean, I'm deeply invested into the whole process since way even before
Yeah,
January
let
6th.
people know where your passion is coming from, because I never knew you were this passionate about
Oh
the
yeah,
whole Capitol rights.
I'm totally into it, and I want to see the obvious come to fruition. If you have eyes and ears and a functioning brain, you know what started this whole entire thing. I won't dive too deep into that, but the point still stands. Republicans are acting like it's no big deal, as they should, because to them, they were never in any real danger, bro, ever, because they weren't coming there for them. They were coming there for the Democrats. They were coming there for Pelosi. They were coming there for Pence, which is a Republican, but that's another story, right? So, yes, I would be passing it off like it's no big deal either, because they weren't coming
Right.
for me. But, some of these Capitol police officers, yeah, man, they're going through it right now. In fact, how many of them committed suicide because of this?
So let me just get right into this, man. Let's get into this now. So what has happened is there's two more police officers who responded have recently committed suicide, and it was announced on Monday, right? So I say more because, as you heard from this guy, this guy, the total now is four officers who have taken their life. So the first one is Officer Gunther Hashida, right? Who was found deceased in their house on Thursday, July 29th. He was a MPD spokesperson, right? The other officer was Kyle the Freytag. And sorry, I suck at saying names, but I'm just trying to say what's there. And this person was found dead July 10th, according to the public information. And they were also just found in their apartment, deceased, right? And before them, obviously, there was two more. I'm not going to name the two more, just the two ones that are there right now, because why are we going down the list, really, now that I'm thinking about it? But the more important point about this is people are saying, why? Like, why would these officers be committing suicide? Why are they dying? This is something for conspiracy theorists to go crazy with. It's not that deep. It's as simple as these officers, the ones who responded the day of the Capitol riots, people don't understand some of the things that they had to go through to get to a resolution. Some of these people were beaten. Some of them were threatened. Some of them were tied up. Some of them were tortured. There's people who were abused, sexually abused, you know what I mean? And threatened not just that day, but for their life thereafter. Because remember, these officers, and not all of them went in wearing masks. So a lot of these people who raided these Capitol riots, they knew where they lived. They could find out all of those things. And it's crazy to me that the police force has something like this going on. But my question to you, as Black people, do you feel sorry for these officers? Are we allowed to feel sorry for police officers?
Of course. I feel sorry for anyone who goes to their job and then gets abused at their job. So at the end of the day, if a police officer pulls me over and says, I need you to do A, B, and C, well, they're a police officer. They're the authority in the situation. I'm going to comply. So knowing, because that's their job. If I go to a fast food restaurant and they say, Chris, I know we used to take orders in this line, but we're taking orders over there now. I'm going to go over there. That's their job. So this is a Capitol Police or police officers. Their job was to protect that building.
Right.
If the police are saying, do not come in, as a citizen, it is your job to respect that authority. So yes, of course I feel bad for the police officers in this instance. 100%.
You see, the difficult part with this for me is that I know that there are officers like this on the force, right? The reason why I asked you that question and asked it in a way where we as Black people have to look at something like this, like, are we allowed to feel bad at police officers, is because when people do things before, like the thing like the defund the police, or where solutions are just to totally eradicate the entire system of the police force or whatever, thinking that'll cause a solution, I bring up instances like this where there are good officers who are out there who are doing good on the force as well. And those people are totally ignored, right? Which is why I never see those things as solutions. These officers and their deaths illustrates a different side of the police force that I think people don't want to pay attention to, because the other side is more important. The side of there are officers who are human, who are fighting for the right reasons. Unfortunately, we live in a world of negativity. So what you're going to hear more of is the officers who are doing bad, especially when it's going to get you more views or sell more newspapers. People have to understand how the media works and not play into the puppetry that sometimes they try to get you to fall into by pushing certain narratives in your face. You know what I mean? And the reason I bring this up is because I had a conversation with one of my friends about this, and before I sent it to you, we were talking about it. That's how I knew about it. And he didn't care. He's like, I don't care about those cops. Good. I wish I was there to beat them down. Cops are no good, bro. They no good. I don't care who they were. Da 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 da. You think they were trying to protect us? They went to the White House to protect the white people. This is what he's saying to me. That type of ignorance to me, that type of mentality to me is dangerous. I don't know. How do you feel?
When I go into a fast food restaurant, I don't want to hop behind the counter and make my burger myself. They're there to make my burger. To the point, police are there to serve and protect you. Now, you may have not had any experience in your life with police where it benefited you at the end of that interaction. And that's fine. And that could jade how you view things, as well as what you see on TV, reading the paper, so on and so forth. But cops are there for you. They're necessary. They're just not perfect, right? So and I'm a believer in eye for an eye. I am. But I can't be happy that a cop got his eye gouged out, or these cops are committing suicide because of trauma, or so on and so forth. You can go down the list. I can't be happy about that because, George Floyd happened. I can't, this is here, these are two separate things. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They're two separate things.
Right.
For instance, and this is going to sound messed up, but for instance, if in the heat of the moment, when George Floyd, or you go down the list, Sandra Bland, so on and so forth, in the heat of the moment, if somebody who was of the same color as one of those unarmed victims said, you know what, cop, you know what you just did? You just took one of mine. Now I'm going to take yours. Blow. I would be okay with that. Crazy as that sounds, I will be okay with that. Heat of the moment, you took one of mine, I'm taking yours. Blow. But these two, they don't connect. They're two totally separate things. These cops had, for all we know, I don't know, but these cops had nothing to do with, whatever stemmed, the many issues that stemmed BLM. They're Capitol riot police officers. What are we talking about?
Right.
Not all cops are the same. Not all black people are the same. Not all white people are the same. Not all Christians are the same, and so on and so forth. What are we talking about?
I mean, for this one, I feel we can leave it up to the public, because there's people that agree with the way that, because I was with a few people and they agreed with what he was saying. You know what I mean? That is where we've gotten the mentality of people right now because of all the violence that we've seen. So, I mean, I would love to start a conversation about this, man. Deuce Gang. It's your turn, man. We're going to leave it up to you. We're going to see how you feel about it. Please drop a comment. Please please subscribe. You know what I mean? This guy wants to save all the cops in the world. He says all the cops in the world are worth saving. And why are we being so mean to them? They did some bad things, but who cares? How do you feel about it? Let us know, man. Deuce Gang.
I hope that whoever's watching this is intelligent enough to know that's not what I said. But I appreciate the fact that you tried to do that, because I do it to you all the time. But anyways,
I was paraphrasing. Of
course you were. Listen, I wonder how Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, I wonder how they're feeling right now, because they're a part of that very exclusive billionaire club.
Right.
And we got
3 comma club, they call it. The 3 Comma Club.
I didn't even know. But we got
Hey, you ain't got enough money. That's
we got Pull It Up, Make It All Out.
yeah, I
We
understand.
got
Ballin'.
what's the other song she did again? Panda Replay. We
Oh, we're
got
doing Rihanna songs.
Brella,
Well,
Brella,
then,
Brella,
bitch better have my money.
That's perfect. Rihanna is officially a billionaire. $1.7 billion. $1.7 billion, man. That's a lot of money. Half of that's because of her, what is it, her Fenty beauty line?
Yeah, apparently, what does it say here? Forbes estimates that 1.4 billion of her worth comes from her Fenty beauty, and 270 million comes from her lingerie brand Savage X Fenty.
So more than half. It just comes from her I don't want to call it branding, but fine, we'll just generalize it, call it branding. I mean,
Right.
Damn.
Doesn't she make music?
I
She used to.
I think the real question is why would she make music?
Well, this is probably why she hasn't dropped an album in, what has it been now, 5-6 years? I don't even know how long it's been. People are gonna roast me for that.
Yo, I'm busy.
Becoming a billionaire. Exactly.
Yeah, what do you want from me?
Right.
I'm supposed
Y'all
to
want
put
another
these
album. Y'all want another album. I mean, I'm out here trying to establish a future.
a future of did you say a future? She's establishing generational wealth. She's gonna put herself in the conversation where she could be one of these dudes who doesn't have to pay taxes because it's wealth. They don't tax wealth, right? They don't tax wealth. That's how they can get away with this stuff.
The wealthy just know how to get around it. Yeah.
This is where Riri said, y'all talking about we need another album. And
okay, but
ASAP Rocky's like,
that's what I was about to say. Yo, you just hit it. You hit it right. I was just about to knock that one on the head. There are two people right now who are having very opposite emotions. One is ASAP Rocky. The other one is Drake. They're having completely different feelings to this news right here. They definitely are. They definitely are. But I think the craziest part about this, and the part that I wanted to kind of talk about on this one, is the fact that she's a billionaire, and very little of this money came from the career that she started in, which was music. A lot of people like to stay in one field and not really want to expand or anything like that. And she went out and tried something a little bit different and ended up becoming a billionaire on it. Why do you feel like more artists don't try to diversify, and why they just stick to music? Because it's been 5 years since she dropped an album. She just strictly focused on this.
Artists do want to diversify. Artists do want to do more than music, but in their mind, it's about them being approached. Like a lot of artists don't want to do that ground up shit. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of work. Like a picture an artist. Well, you make music, so being an independent artist is hard as shit. Right. So now you want them to go, not you, but now generally you want them to go and try to start another brand and ground up. No, like they want to get approached with some sort of a brand deal. You know what I mean? And then basically they want to hand it to them. Pretty much. That's what I think.
Well, this shows what happens when you're willing to work, people, ladies and gentlemen, when you don't just want something right away and within the next few years, and you're willing to actually sacrifice. Because let's be real here. This was a sacrifice for her. Her career was music. She could always go back to that or whatever. But I'm pretty sure in order to make all of this money, she probably had to do a lot of work. She probably had to put in a lot of hours. And she also had to give up some of her equity, right? Because she only owns about 50% of the company.
Right. Right.
We come from what is known as the Screwface capital, Toronto. Well, not Toronto, but Ontario. Just in general. I feel like the whole province is like this, man. It's really tough over here, where we have our artists who, one, want to stick to that street life, want to stick to that gang life, want to stick to the music, don't really focus on broadening their horizons, but more importantly, are not willing to really support or work with other people. They want the whole thing of the pie. And we continue to get these examples of people who, when they choose the opposite route, when they say, you know what, let me give a little bit of the pie away and I feel like I can make more money, or let me try something different, other than what I'm doing, because you know what, this might sell right now, but this doesn't have any longevity, right? When people don't look at it like that, why do you think that stuff is holding? Mainly, I want to talk about Toronto artists, right? Why do you think it's holding Toronto artists back?
I think it's always been a crab in a bucket mentality. There can only be one. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else to put it. I could give you tons and tons of examples, but there really can only be one. Like, and when people want to work with each other, they only want to work with the people that's kind of in their immediate circle, which I understand, but they don't really want to, from my experience and what I've seen with my own eyes, they don't really want to work with people outside of their own circle, which is insane to me because you can't be that big where everybody knows you. So why would you not want to tap into another market? Like
Right.
For instance, I seen, and I'll make this quick, but I seen Gutsy the other night jump into a live with Top Five and some other artists. And Gutsy's a part of a network that has like what, almost 18,000 subscribers on YouTube. Their Instagram page is like what, 18,000. Like they got a pretty sizable platform. So you'd think you'd want to interact with that just to tap into that market space. Why not?
Right. Yeah.
That was not what happened. Gutsy got ran out of the classroom.
Seriously, I didn't see it. I
He
didn't
got
see it.
ran out of the classroom. He got insulted, and they laughed. Even when he was gone, they were still cutting him up. And it's whatever. It's all entertainment if you know how to spin it. And by the way, Gutsy did spin it. It was hilarious. But
Right.
he made the most of it, and that's what you got to do. But it's to that end. You understand what I'm saying? Like, people will work with other people, but only in their immediate circle. And to a point, I can understand that because you can't just let anyone in. But I mean, at the same time, like, come on, man. You gotta just tap everywhere, check every box, cross every T, dot every I. Like, come on. What are we doing?
For
Thought.
me, I don't know. I don't know how many more examples we can get of artists, especially like yes, Rihanna's not from here. She's not Canadian or whatever, but she's from a Caribbean island, which is more difficult to make it out of. And then on top of it, she's a Black female, right? So think of what she's been able to accomplish as an artist, as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, how she changed the game of makeup and clothing and all of that stuff. And all she had to do was say to herself, you know what? I'm willing to try something a little bit different. I'm not going to go with what the norm is. I'm not going to make the same goddamn type of music as everybody else. But also, I'm going to try different with my business. I'm not going to try to make the same makeup as everybody else. I'm not going to make the same clothes as everybody else. I'm going to go my own route and struggle for a little bit. And maybe it's difficult, but at the end of the day, I know I'm going to win. And I'm also going to have people on my team. I'm going to trust people outside of my immediate circle who may know more than me, who may be willing or able to open more doors. I don't know how many more examples we can get of this before it clicks in, and it's painful now as somebody looking at like the younger artists, especially, who tend to get more of the clout just because they're more about the shits versus them focusing on longevity.
Let me tell you one last thing just to bring it back to Toronto. And I'm telling you this right now.
Yeah.
If there was one rapper or singer or whatever you call these dudes that just kind of like are in between, that use the auto tune and they're all over the place, rapping, singing, whatever you want to call them. If there was just one of them, or female, that literally put the work in, I'm talking for a year, and worked with everyone. You need a feature, you need to, regardless of your level, still calculated, but worked with everyone a year. The following year, they're in a totally different space. I'm talking a nigga or girl who's starting from scratch. 0 followers on Instagram, none of that, but just willing to work with everyone. Again, calculated. I'll get a verse for you here. We're doing a video. Cool. We're gonna promote that. We're gonna do a quick IG. I'm talking working, but with everyone. 1 year straight, next year they'll be in a totally different space, because all you're really doing is you're just doing what the radio used to do with radio programming. Oh, I know you don't know this song, but in a month or so, you're going to know it because we're going to ram it down your throat.
Right.
That's all you're doing. But
you're just letting people hear you and see you consistently.
It just takes work. But so that's why I bring it back to that, like with people in their little immediate circles and not wanting to get outside of that. Cool. You'll get big, especially if you're with the shits and you're with the blase. But if you can just see past your circle, you get, not only will you get bigger faster, people will challenge your creativity, because if I'm a boom bap dude and you're an R&B melody type of whatever, I got to get like you if I want to tap into your audience, don't I? I don't get it, man.
Hey, it's been confusing to me. You try to make sense of it, just don't, because that's going to hurt everybody right now. Seriously.
Well, the one thing that does make sense, hit that subscribe button. But the one thing that does make sense is how big Versus is getting. Versus is getting huge, bro. And I want to point out one thing before we get into that. Where are you from again?
Jamaica.
Have you ever been to a sound clash? Is that just not what Versus is?
Listen, don't I didn't know you were gonna say that. You caught me off guard. Don't get me started about that, man. The conversations I have had about that with Jamaican people is hilarious. That's funny.
It's a sound clash. But anyways, yeah, man, Versus is getting seriously big, especially now that they don't have to do it online. They can get, the artists in one space. Delta variant be damned. There's no masks.
No, I saw Fat Joe wearing a mask. He pulled it up one time when the camera flashed on him, so that's good.
I see many clips of Fat Joe not wearing any mask. I don't know what the hell.
There was one clip where he saw the camera. He's like, pulled it up like all the way up here, like.
Yo, and really quick, you know what? Let me get Homeboy's name. I have to find it because we did a video about Dipset versus the Locks, and we were both saying Dipset was gonna win. Yo, shout out Junie Gellihal, Junie, second word Gyllhenhalal, because he was hitting us up on our Dipset versus Locks. And he was like, you guys are idiots. You don't know anything about hip hop. The Locks are going to win. And da-da-da. Yo, he literally went back to the video this morning and was like, I just got to read it. Hold on for a second.
Yeah, just read the comment. Yeah.
He goes, tried to warn you. It was a smoke show. Y'all don't know rap. It's not your fault. My pop schooled me on Motown. It's different when you actually love it. So he came with the smoke against us.
Hey, listen.
But the point is he was right. So shout out to you, man.
Was it the Locks or was it Jadakiss? I mean, it's really up. It's really up for debate right now. It's really up for debate. And listen, I can admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah, we was wrong, man.
I can. But what I did say is if they include individual tracks, it's a different Versus. I do remember saying that.
I got to be honest with you. I thought the entire time they were just going to stick to the LOX catalog. Well, I didn't think Jada was going to bring out in Madison Square Gardens, New York, we got 100. I didn't think it was going to bring that out. Like who? I thought it was Locks songs, not collabs here and there.
The energy in that building was, I've never seen anything like that. Like I could feel it through the TV. That's one of the few verses where you could feel the energy like through the TV from the crowd. And it's because of the atmosphere. Like that was a real New York vibe that they was giving, dead ass. It was a real vibe that it was giving off, like I feel like for the rest of the thing, I might just talk like this.
If you walked into Madison Square Gardens dressed head to toe in Abercrombie and Finch, you walked out dressed like a member of like Dipset with a slang, everything, 100%. That was very New York, 100%, man. But I didn't bet anyone, and I'm still kind of shocked But I guess not really, because you're right. They did the solo tracks and like the verses here and there. And when you really look at that, yo, they didn't even, man, I seen somebody on my Twitter talking about they didn't even bust out. The Locks could have bust out like Honey. They could have took it back to Honey with Mariah Carey.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of songs. This is what I'm trying to say. There's
You're right. But
And
you know what? They brought the tracks that like were meant to like punch niggas in their face. Like they wasn't trying to do that sweet candy music, you know, either side. And I think that's what added to the battle. You know what I mean? It's very few of the artists that had that kind of catalog where it's aggressive like that.
Right. But they're supposed to be going on tour together.
I would love that. That's a genius move.
But they got to bring
atmosphere they created was amazing.
They got to bring that type of energy on tour. Don't just be hitting people with the songs, like getting niggas' faces and shit. Like, you know what I mean? I want to see that.
There was literally a point where Jadakiss grabbed Santana's bandana and just threw it on the ground, grabbed it off his head, snatched it off his head, and that was after, because Santana was trying to get through Styles P and Jadakiss. For those who didn't see it, but you know what I'm talking about. And Santana kind of pushed his way through, and as he's going through, Kiss just grabs the fucking bandana off of his head and throws it on the ground while rapping the whole time. The whole time he's
that's
rapping.
Hilarious.
Bro,
man.
come on, man. But that vibe is unmatched.
Yeah, but see, that's the beauty of verses like that. When you can be face to face, it's the same thing when you look at battle rap. Rap, there's an unwritten code. You can get in someone's face, just can't touch them, or maybe you even have the conversation prior. You can touch, physical contact's okay, but here are the rules. I'm sure there was an understanding between the two groups. It's got to be entertaining. Let's give them what they want. We're entertainers after all, right? So let's give them something to talk about. So when you tell me Santana was trying to push and Jada ripped the bandana,
it was a brotherly vibe. It was like, because what you could see Santana laughing when that happened. He wasn't angry. It's not like a fight broke out. He was laughing. So like, they are really smart in how they put this together and how they came together. And you could tell that they worked together on this for a long time, because there's been social media beef going on with these guys for a minute. So I don't know. They might have shown the blueprint. It might have taken the Locks and Dipset to show, you know, Swiss and Tim the blueprint for really how this thing should look like. I mean, and it really just is a sound clash at the end of the day. But let's not go back to.
But when there's a big fight, don't you promote it? Isn't like you got to promote that fight, right? Like what's homie's name again? The Irish dude that talks all that shit. I can't remember his name. His name escapes me.
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor, man. Conor McGregor promotes the shit out of a fight.
Right.
He
and
may
all
not
he has to do sometimes just walk in a room just the way that he walks.
Like he may not even know you, has no idea who you are, but because he's fighting you and he's got to promote that fight, he hates everything about you. He hates your mom, your dad, your kids, your dog, like, but he builds it up. So he's like, yo, I gotta see this.
Right.
If for one or two things, I want to see Conor McGregor live up to everything he was saying, or that nigga talks some ass shit and I want to see him get fucked up. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what the Locks and Dipset they were doing. They were promoting it, man. Message. What's the new one? Is there a new one that's coming out that we know?
I'm not sure. I can't even speak on it.
Viewing public, what are your thoughts here? What's another group that you think would be just as entertaining, or artists? I'm gonna put this out there. It's never gonna happen because the bag would just be not big. You know what? Let's take the bag out of it. Like these two artists, they would just have to do it strictly for the love because you can't pay them enough. You couldn't. But I would want to see, obviously, Jay-Z versus Nas. Come on, what the hell?
Oh my God. But okay, I don't want to talk because last time I was wrong, because I'm gonna sit here and be like, does Nas stand a chance? And then people are just gonna come at me for that. So, you know, I said it, but who knows? Whatever. It is what it is at this point.
Viewing public, what are your thoughts? Who do you want to see in the next versus battle? And listen, man, if we wrong, we wrong. Leave it in the comments. We'll be sure to shout you out as well. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Two Guys Doing a Podcast. Deuces.
Yo, thanks for watching that video, making it all the way to the end. You made it this far. You have to like. Please subscribe and comment on the video as well. Join the conversation.
Absolutely. We finally hit our goal of 500 subscribers. Yes,
Yes,
we are
sir.
trying to get to 1,000, and we can only do that with your help. You can start by watching that next video. You see that tiny little icon? Click on that icon, rinse and repeat. Deuces.
Deuce.